and welcome here to TalkFCB, and welcome back to the channel here today, guys, for a Barça news round. We've got lots of debate and conversation coming up today surrounding the training sessions, the intensity at Barça, lots to talk about on that. We're also going to be talking about our transfer policy ahead of the summer, including sales, and particularly focusing on young talents. We're also going to be talking about Ronald Araujo today, and as well, Gerard Pique and Lionel Messi. There's lots to come, and I hope you're going to enjoy it. Thank you for joining me. Let's do this. But I want to start, as always, with the super thanks donations on the channel. This one right here has been following since 2017. Absolutely incredible there. And a big shout out to your best friend, Rogelio. Now, I have heard, actually, Roger Federer being called Rogelio before, so that is a very, very cool name there, I've got to say. And a big shout out here to another super thanks coming in from Denmark, who sees a really bright future for the club, and that's a big part of what we're going to be discussing today, our future. And also to David Fernan, he's becoming a regular here on the super thanks. Really appreciate all the support, and let's get on with the big topics to come. Because let's start here, guys, with the training sessions at Barca. Because honestly, for all of us Barcelona fans, I think one of our biggest concerns, one of our biggest complaints really, not just this season, but over the past several seasons at the club, it's all been based around the training. We have always asked the question, are we training hard enough? Are we training with the right intensity? Are we doing the right things in training? Because I'm sure all of you will have heard at some point in your life, you will have been told by somebody, failure to prepare equals prepare to fail. As in, if you do not prepare in the right way, if you do not get yourself ready for the challenge, for the exercise to come, you will fail it. You will simply not be able to succeed without the right preparation. And has that been happening at Barca? Because according to the media right now, and this has come out over the past 24 hours, there are several Barcelona players who have actually gone to the coaching staff at the club, and they have asked to increase the intensity of training, especially ahead of the Champions League and the Clásico to come in April. They have asked there, let's ramp it up. Let's really ramp up the intensity now and train with more intent ahead of these games. And I think that's interesting, because after the game against Atletico Madrid, Lewandowski openly came out and said the following words. He said the last 2, 3, 4 weeks, he said, we have been tweaking our training a little bit. He said, we've been adding more intensity. And he said, personally, I feel great physically, and my teammates feel the same way. We're aiming to progress as a team, and we don't only want to win, but we also want to play better. So Lewandowski, after that Atleti game, openly came out and said, look, we have started to change in training. We have started to do maybe a few different things to what we were doing, and we are seeing now some better results. We're seeing the team play with a lot more intensity and from the word go. However, that may only be, though, one side of the story, because actually, when you listen to those words from Lewandowski, when you hear the reports that are coming out right now from what the players have apparently asked for, within the club, they do disagree on that, because they will actually say right now, and they'll point to the fact that training has only just started to change because of what the club had to go through in January, because of the sheer number of games. That's the only reason why maybe the training wasn't as intense as it was now. Now, I don't know whether that was an excuse for the rest of the season, for going back even further than that as well, but the club are saying right now, look, nothing drastic has changed overnight. It's simply been a case of we've had less games, we've had less fixture congestion, and we have been able to train in a different way. But I think it's really, really important here. Like we say, ahead of these games to come, we've got to be on it. We have to match every single team we face, not only mentally, not only there in terms of skill and the characteristics out on the field, but you've got to match them physically. We have to be ready for a battle in every single game to come, and that starts with the training. But I do also want to talk today, guys, about the reported official away kit for the 24-25 season. And this has been reported today by Memorabilia 1899, who is a very, very reliable source there when it comes to all things Barcelona kits. And what do you make of this reported away kit for next season? Because even right now, with the potential termination of that deal with Nike, apparently our kits for next season will not change. They would still be the ones that are being prepared. Everything right now has already been planned and finalised, really, so we wouldn't expect any change on that right now. We'd sign a deal with another company for seasons further down the line, but let's wait and see. There's lots of news changing on that all of the time, but what do you make of that away kit? Because I've got to be honest with you guys, straight away, you look at that, the first thing that comes to my mind, what is the logo doing there? Because it just looks as though it looks wrong. Why is it in the centre of the shirt? With that design there, with the sponsor, with the Nike logo, why is the logo in the middle of the shirt? That doesn't really make any sense to me at all. I do like the colours. I think the kit itself looks pretty cool. But I'm also wondering, guys, on Nike right now, what do you make of their designs? You know, every single season, Barca get a number of different shirts. We know they sell incredibly well. We know we're all probably going to buy them anyway. But would you miss these Nike designs if we were to leave them? Do you think another company like Puma, like Adidas, could come in and create better shirts for Barcelona? Do let me know your thoughts on that down below, and let me know your honest opinion here on this away kit. But I do want to move on today, guys, to talk about the transfer side of things, because obviously in yesterday's video we spoke a lot in some detail about Rafinha, about big money coming in, big offers coming into Barca, and I think some fans are sort of concerned here that when is it going to end in terms of the player sales, and where do we draw the line when it comes to selling players who are effective in our team? You know, if a big money offer comes our way, if money's on the table, are Barca always going to have to take it? Are we always going to look to sell any player, really, if it can generate money in our current situation? But what I want to do here today, guys, is just reassure you a little bit on that front, because first of all, Laporta has come out and said very recently that we do not want to sell any big player this summer. He said if all goes to plan with our goals, with our objectives this summer, then we won't be forced into selling any player. He said, of course, if somebody wants to leave, then we're not going to stop them, but I'm not worried about that at all. We want to keep the squad together. So Laporta's saying there that Barca right now have a plan, they have objectives this summer, and if everything goes according to that plan, we won't be forced into doing anything that we don't want to do. And the message right now is that we're not just willing to sell anyone. We're not just willing to take any amount of money for any key player and deal with it because of FFP. We're going to be very selective. We are going to be really selective here about the players that we can afford to lose, that we are happy to lose, compared there to somebody in the squad who is irreplaceable and who is indispensable to our plans. And I think right now you're looking at the younger talents at the club. That is certainly where the club are putting a lot of priority. They have a lot of faith in the young players who can be the future of this club, and they also really want to keep, I feel, the players at Barca with real quality, world-class quality, who are still really yet to enter their prime years at the club. So those are the two pillars of this squad that we must keep together. And Laporta did go on indeed to say that we are receiving crazy bids right now for lots of our players. He said, look there, like Lamine Yamal. He said, we received a bid for around 200 million euros. And he said, of course we're rejecting it. We are rejecting that deal. We said no. He said, we trust Lamine very much and we do not need to sell. And I wonder there whether that was indeed the reported PSG bid that came in for Yamal. I could imagine them offering that kind of money for him. And Laporta also said, we've received bids for Alejandro Balde, for Fermin Lopez, for Pedri, Frenkie de Jong, Araujo, Gavi. But again, Laporta really did specify we do not want to sell our stars and we do not need to this summer. So let's hope there that is indeed the case. Because just to go along with that then, to go even further right here this morning, big report coming out from Fernando Polo, who we know is a very reliable journalist in Catalonia, and he says Barca have also rejected an offer of 35 million euros for Hector Fort ahead of the summer there. The young fullback has been the subject there of big money coming in from an unnamed club at this stage, but Barca have big plans for him, as you can see there. By rejecting that money, apparently, they want him to be part of the first team next season. They also want to renew his contract there on a long-term deal, because not only, for me, is Hector Fort incredibly talented, he's a really, really good fullback there who could flourish into something special in these years to come, but what you've also got to bear in mind as well is, at this point too, he is so useful to have in your squad there, to have a player that can easily play at right back and at left back. That really gives you so many options, especially when you combine that with Cancelo. You've got Ford and Cancelo there who can both play really well on both sides of defence. That is something that is absolute magic to have in your squad there. And I do want to talk here more about Ronald Araujo, because Fernando Polo has also reported this morning that now, more than ever, Araujo is closer to renewing at the club. It's the closest now that it's been in a long, long time. And Barca right now are seeing it as absolutely vital to get Araujo renewed ASAP. And Fernando Polo says it's well and truly on track. We can expect that to happen, hopefully, very, very soon. And this is news, by the way, that comes just 2 days after it was said within the club that they want to complete Araujo's renewal before making any signings this summer. That's how important they believe this renewal to be right now. They're not even thinking about signings. They want to get Araujo renewed first, get that all wrapped up and done with La Liga, and only then will they think about the summer transfer window and players coming in. Because, of course, Araujo's contract right now only runs for another 2 years until 2026, and I think it will be a real relief to get that done, to extend that deal there by multiple years, keep Araujo at the club, keep him as the real heart and the pillar of our defence at the club. And there's even more great news today on him, because Uruguay coach there, Marcelo Bielsa, he has allowed Araujo to return early to Barcelona. Now, I want to stress right now, there's no injury at all. He has simply allowed Araujo, 4 other Uruguay players as well, to leave Uruguay's camp early, to have a bit more rest. They will not play in their final friendly match, because Uruguay have been stationed this international break in Europe, so it's been easier to do that kind of thing, and I think that's absolutely fantastic there. Good man, Bielsa, to give Araujo that extra rest, to improve those relations between club and country. That's what you want to see. Let's work together on this. Let's get the best out of players. Let's keep them all fit and healthy for everyone. I think Luis de la Fuente could learn a lot from Marcelo Bielsa. But I do also, guys, want to discuss with you today some more quotes from Gerard Piqué, and in some detail as well, because as we know, Piqué has been doing a lot of talking, a lot of different interviews of late, particularly here recently in the UK. I think he's really trying to promote the Kings League on a number of different levels, and he's of course been asked in those interviews about his incredible career, about Barca, and about his teammates as well. And I want to bring you some Piqué quotes here and conversation today on Piqué and Messi, because he said Leo Messi was another thing. He said he was totally different from the rest there, any other player. He said during the games, I could actually sit back and watch what he was doing. I could enjoy him there. But he said during training, though, he said, I suffered. We all suffered. He said it wasn't good. Let me tell you, you simply had to run. And he did go on to say then as well that I had the opportunity to share a dressing room with Cristiano Ronaldo at Manchester United. And he said he was at the very, very top level. But he said, I think Leo was something different there. Between the two of them, Leo was on a different level. And I thought what was really interesting was that Piqué went on to talk there about Messi's character, about his humility really inside of the dressing room. He said, did Messi care about Ronaldo? He said no. He was simply not that type of guy. He said he was always focused on the team. Even when he was on the front page, when he was on the radio, the TV, he was only ever focused on winning trophies for the team. And he said at the end of the day, it was only because he was the best then, because he was the absolute best in the world, that he was winning the Ballon d'Or. He said because that was never, ever his real priority. And I thought those there were very, very kind words. Words that we all knew about Messi. We know he's that kind of person. We know he's incredibly humble, that he doesn't really think, that he doesn't really base his whole career around Ronaldo. I'm not really sure you could say that from the other way around, but I just thought those words there from Piqué were very, very nice to hear. And I've got to admit, guys, that even to this day, I do still wonder about Messi and Piqué's relationship. Are some of the rumours true? You know, did they not really see eye to eye? Was there a period, was there a time maybe where they started to grow apart at the club? Because as we've all heard, since Messi left the club, Piqué of course stayed on for a bit more time after that at Barca. And from what we've heard, maybe there wasn't all that much love lost between them towards the end. But certainly from the way that Piqué is speaking about Messi here, he's full of praise for him. I mean, it's Messi, how could you not be? But I guess I do just wonder, and especially since since international break here, this is the time to have our crazy thoughts, our interesting thoughts here, because obviously even some of the best teams ever, they don't always get on. You know, you think behind the scenes that if you're winning everything, you're winning every trophy out there on the field, everything clicked perfectly, but it doesn't necessarily mean that off the field, everybody's best friends. You know, you've got different circles, you've got different ways of living, you have different characters in that dressing room. Not everybody's all going to be the same, and I guess I still just do wonder, did they always get on? You know, were there times when they didn't get on? Were there things that annoyed one another? And certainly to this day now, you know, if they were to see each other out in the streets, how would they greet each other? Would they be friends? Would they be warm towards each other? These are the questions that I'm asking. These are the questions that I hope that one day we can get answered. But I'm interested, guys, to know your thoughts as well. What do you think about the relationship there of Piqué and Messi? Do you believe what we've been hearing? Can you see that maybe that was the case behind the scenes, especially towards the end? That's something there to let me know in the comments down below, and I hope you have enjoyed here all of the topics that we discussed in today's video, from the training to the transfers and that reported new Barça away kit. Let me know all of your takeaways in the comments down below. I will see you all very soon with more news coming up, but until next time, as always, Visca, El Barça.